This is Bioshock Infinite. We're here on PlayStation 5, taking a look at this absolutely perfect experience. Be sure to like the video, subscribing is great as well. So yeah, what are we getting here on the PlayStation 5? Well, it's 1440p at 60 FPS. And yes, it's a fairly great looking game and representation of what Bioshock Infinite has to offer. So I do personally believe Bioshock Infinite to be one of the greatest games ever created. It really is just such a miraculous experience, and I have died. That is kind of a little sad. I actually didn't even see that coming. But anyways, yeah, like I was saying, this game is just absolutely spectacular. It is one of the greatest achievements in gaming in terms of narrative and AI structuring, and it just really is a great game. So in the story, you are playing as this individual that has essentially been marked. You have to get rid of the debt by grabbing the girl. So you gotta find her. But there's a lot more to the game, and there's a lot more mystery as you go and team up with this young woman named Elizabeth. And the two of you go on this really intense story of revolution, liberation, destruction, tearing of time and space. It's wild. It's such a great game. And it's one of those games where you sit there and you think about it. Probably for hours after you finished it, going online, reading about it, looking for new info, trying to figure out a little bit more as to what happened. Now, with this complete edition of the game, you get not only, the core story, but you also get the expansion story DLC content that takes things a little bit further. And if you've played the other Bioshock games, it kind of goes full circle, and it brings everything together in a truly magnificent and intriguing way. So I would definitely say do the full story so that you get the full experience of what this game has to offer, because it is magnificent and it does combine in a very, very exciting way by the end of it. So going back to the Elizabeth character, she is absolutely fascinating. You're Booker, you're kind of a guardian the whole time through. But she's a companion that's with you, most of the game. And she actually gives you a hand. Like, she's out there gathering money and, kind of salt and stuff for you so that you can keep fighting. She's not a distraction. She's actually there to help. And that is so interesting because typically when you get, like, an AI partner, they are annoying. But no, she actually is there to do great things. And you get to visit this gorgeous city in the clouds. I love this game. I really do think it is quite spectacular. Oh wow, the trees and everything are on fire. That's not a good sign. It really is quite a magnificent game. You get the full, expansive, single-player element to enjoy in what is just such a remarkable, thought-provoking time. They really did just, like, every room is filled to the brim with details and things for you to do. Jeez. Okay, yeah, take gear, come on, get to it. Yeah. Sorry, you gotta get all your welcome bonuses and stuff as you, because if you bought, like, certain editions way back in the day, you would get all these things, and eventually at some point with the complete edition here, now it just gives you all of this stuff, and you gotta grab all your cool items, and, everything like that. But it is such a magnificent thing of wonder, and discovery, and excitement, and every moment of it is just really, really crazy. Seriously, you will be so surprised at the things you see and the things you have to deal with. And the themes of this game are very mature. Like, it's graphic, it's violent, but it's also like the themes it goes through during, like, certain revolutionary points or conflict points are just absolutely fascinating. It's so, again, thought-provoking and interesting, and the gameplay's fun. And it may seem like just a regular shooter, but I assure you there's so much more to this one gameplay-wise. It is, it's a very special game. That is the biggest thing, and it is most certainly something that you should dive into and discover by yourself and enjoy in as spoiler-free as a way as you can, or of a way as you can, because the whole, like, the mystery and the things you see and the things you do, it really does leave a lasting mark. It's a game that I think at this point is almost a decade old. It's getting there. And it still has just left such a long-term sort of mark on me, just in regards to, like, thinking about this one over the years. It is, yeah, it's actually kind of amazing that I still find this one to be so intriguing so many years onwards. And I would say visually, this game still looks fantastic. I am used to a little bit of higher resolution when I played this, like, Series X-wise, but, you know, the 1440p and everything like that, I still think looks really, really good. And really, really interesting. No survivors! But yeah, like, every room, every place tells a story, with hidden surprises, and secrets, and things for you to gather. It's more than just shooting stuff, if that makes sense. When you actually look in the room, and there's collectibles and stuff to gather too. And some challenge type mode things, which are kind of neat. That goes a little bit further, but, you know, like, there's so much heart and, like, discovery and excitement in every moment. It's so great. I really do just find this one to be... I don't have enough salt? Okay, that sucks. Oh, I'm going to die. Oh, look, it's one of those things. Great. But yeah, the world, it feels also very reactive. Like, the different places you go, the different things you have to shoot, your enemies. And there's a lot of different types of enemies that you come across too. This is just, like, really generic, kind of like, I guess you would say, the police force. But, like, there's a lot of things you have to contend with along the way. Otherworldly things. And then there's the Vigors, which you've seen me use a bit of, and it's like a salt-driven system, where you are using these, like, weapons, these otherworldly things to attack and, you know, kind of cause mayhem. You could shoot fire, you could possess things. There's a lot going on in this one. And then you can gather resources and money and stuff in the world that you can use for further upgrades. And again, thematically, this game is just utterly fascinating in terms of, like, what you actually, like, stumble upon while you're going through it. And there's this, like, kind of, like, backdrop thing of, like, what is going on here? Who are some of these people in the backdrop? What is the role of the character I play? What is the role of the girl? Who are these other people? And, you know, there's always another lighthouse. And there's always another little sense of mystery. And I really do think it's something that you can replay over and over again. And, you know, there's always going to be... if you take the time to look for other things, but it's always going to be a fun mystery, a fun battle, a fun bout of discovery and shooting. And it's just great. And I've turned off the music because there's usually copyright issues with the music in this game, but I will say that the audio in this one is just absolutely lovely. It really does, for a lot of the game, carry the scenes that are at play. It's very, very well done, the soundtrack in this game. And then, you know, just the weird things that go on in this one. I think you will be so pleased by it. Like, if you've never played it before, somehow, you are literally in for what is one of the best experiences in gaming. Genuinely, one of the best games ever made. Oh, the creepy crow guy. But if you're revisiting the game, it's a pretty good way to revisit it. It's upgraded, it's clean, it's visually quite appealing. You know, it's that experience you might have loved back in the day, but obviously running at a much better frame rate, which is nice. Oh, jeez. Usually I just burn this guy and I just, like, he just kind of dies right off the bat, but, I'm having some weird issues not being able to destroy this one. Thank you for the cruise. New vigor. Yum. It'd be cool to have one of those, like, bottles on display. I've seen some people create them. They look wonderful. So yeah, they kind of mess things up. And obviously, there are other Bioshock games. This is just Infinite. You know, there is Bioshock 1 and 2. And like I said, if you play this one and you do the DLC and you get the full experience going on, and then you go back and, you know, it's a full circle experience is the biggest thing. Is, like, it really does all nestle together in such a beautiful way that I think most people that try it and they do the full series, you'll be like, whoa, and it's just, yeah, it's really exciting to see that. Actually, are we supposed to get on this side? Like, there we go. Oh, that's nice. And everything is, like, just so clean, like the advertisements, the different rooms, the details within all these conflicting places, and you never know when you might find yourself going off in a different direction. Supposed to get to the gondola place, but we got a little sidetracked, I guess you would say. I will leave you alone, ma'am. And there's a lot of, like, class system type things in here. Like, there's more I could probably dive into as well, but I kind of want to look at it from a perspective of maybe some people really just checking this out for the first time and just being blown away by it. Like, it's a pretty lengthy game, too. And there's a good mix of combative situations. You know, sometimes you're flopping around rooftops, other times you're stuck in situations, other moments you're just taking in the narrative as you interact with these different characters. And there's always different, like, play spaces that will challenge your gameplay style in different ways. And I always think that that is just really, really intriguing how it, like consistently are mixing things up for you to create new and exciting and engaging things for you to do. And then just, like, the moments you have with Elizabeth, some of my favorite moments aren't even the ones where you're necessarily battling anyone or anything. You're just kind of taking in the beauty of a scene. Because there's a certain naive level to Elizabeth with her lack of world experience and your connection to her and her just trying to have this, like, wonder of visiting a new place for the first time. And you were like, wow, there's danger, there's terrible stuff going on, and you were just trying to get her, like, through this all. And then there's some certain, I mean, obviously we're in a city in the clouds, but, you know, there's some sci-fi stuff to this, right? It's not just, like, a totally grounded experience. I mean, I think that should have been almost obvious with the fact that we're, like, literally shooting fireballs out of our hands, and we're in the clouds. If it wasn't self-explanatory enough, we you know, it is certainly something that bridges on the gap of a sci-fi type of experience. So there are other surprises regarding the different characters and what happens. And you really have to, like, look into every scene. As I was saying, it's one of those ones where, you know, there's a lot of surprises, there's a lot of secrets. But, like, if you play it and then you replay it, there's more you can really appreciate and see along the way. Like, more kind of gets revealed to you, or, you know, you look at different scenes and different moments with a little bit more. Even when you finish the game for the first time and you go, what? And you have to sit there and read about it online or watch stuff about things to understand stuff further. I think you can you know, you'll be kind of sitting there being like, oh, well, that moment, and then, oh, that moment, and it just, like, it all comes together in such a interesting, satisfying way that I think is so, so great. And I don't know how they have so much city space up in the clouds that they can have all of these, like, buildings that are basically, like, run down. Anyways, that aside. It's not necessarily a game that's going to also be, like, too insane for you to do. Like, there is challenge to it, but I mean, if you're, you know, there's different difficulty options, there's always, you know, different ways to engage with it, and it should be for any type of person to come in here and give her a whirl, which is nice. It's the Prophet. And I think a regular player would probably sit here and be a little bit more in wonder than I am, but obviously I've done all of this before. Yeah. This guy's always got a speech going on. Always got something to say. I love the mystery of this game, though. Seriously, I wish I could experience this type of game for the first time again. And I'm hoping that a future Bioshock does something like this, to the degree where I'm kind of like, ooh, what's happening? What's going on?
Because I have seen their future in the glory, and hence they are content. What brought you to Columbia, Booker? Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt?
Wipe away the debt.
This will end in blood. Then again, it always does with you, doesn't it? It always ends in blood.
Yes, it does.
You've come to lead my lamb astray, but thy crook is bent and thy path is twisted. Go back to the Sodom from which you came.
Alright, man.
Holy shit.
I wonder if we're gonna actually have time to show off the area I want to show off. Usually I time this pretty well when I do these videos. Oh yeah, because we still gotta cause some mad issues here.
The Lord forgives everything. But I'm just a prophet, so I don't have to. Amen.
Be easier to just shoot this dude right here. It was gonna happen regardless, dude. Yeah, I don't know if we're actually timely-wise gonna get this to all line up here. But yeah, this is just such a remarkable thing. If anything, I think you're gonna be left with a bit of a tease, because it's not gonna... usually we end like right at the moment where it's a connecting time. If you've played the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Closed. I will note it was a little funny in the opening screen. There was like a little bit of a green screen thing, which was funny. And instead of the menu showing it was green screen, but no, it all runs fine. Looks good. It's a great experience. An absolute must play. I wonder if we're gonna make it there in time.
That's what